and welcome to the Exploreum podcast. We know, we don't know. I'm holding a microphone that I don't need. As you can tell, there are a few new additions to our little setting, aka a table.
And a chair.
And a chair.
With someone in it.
If you don't know, this is something that we do know that you don't know, so it's like a switch. We have a residential little girl who is a ghost in this building in the firehouse side, because this used to be the old Sloan fire station. And she just kind of hangs out. She likes to run up the stairs and then go down the fire pole. And just over and over and over, we'll hear her sometimes. She'll mess with some of the things sometimes, like downstairs. The magnet dancing will go off periodically, randomly, and she's just kind of chilling.
She likes to play with the hurricane machine.
She does. She really does.
And she just wanted to join us today.
Yeah.
For a little
Tell
bit,
us some of the stories that she has.
So go ahead. Tell your story.
Your turn. Hi, welcome back. The seat has been filled.
Yeah. Yes.
No, it is not a ghost.
It is not the ghost. It is Miss Savannah.
Yeah. She is our Exploreum education director here, and how's it been?
Great, I'm not a ghost, you know.
No. We had a guest star earlier, and she was just kind of chilling with us.
I apologize. I was down on the floor, catching myself on fire, and hanging out with tortoises and things.
Awesome. See, that's the life of education here.
Yeah,
it's all the fun parts of the Exploreum.
Exactly.
And the most chaotic parts of the Exploreum. But the two go hand in hand.
Completely agree. Yeah. But we brought you here today to ask you some questions. You are our first official guest here on the podcast, so congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. I'm happy to be here.
And we just wanted to ask you a few questions, see what you do here, what exactly goes into your job title. So you're the Exploreum Educational Director.
Yes.
And what goes into everything that you do? What's your day-to-day life?
So today's really a great example of that. Being the director of education, you really don't have a day-to-day life. And that's kind of the name of the game, is being ready for just about everything. So I walked in today and I figured out quickly that I had to work with school groups, and so we did a Rubens tomb demonstration. I opened the pavilion, hung out with some of our reptile ambassadors. So I guess the only constants with my job is that I have to be ready for everything, be ready to be on the floor or to be in meetings or to work on exhibit installation. And that's kind of the beauty of it, is it's never the same ever.
No, it's really not.
In fact, it's hard to find me because you don't know where I'm at.
Honestly, half the time I want to put an air tag or a tile because I can never find her anywhere.
That means you'll never be bored.
I'm never bored. No, but never bored. It's exciting. That's really one of the biggest appeals of the job, and that we get to work with all different kinds, people every day, whether they're school groups or they're students that are here in my academies, or they're guests that are walking in, or we've met some wonderful, interesting people in this. It's just, again, every day is different. You really don't know what each day has in store.
Yeah.
All right.
It's definitely it's a rolling ball.
Yeah, you gotta just roll with it for sure. Yeah.
So I gotta ask, what inspired you to pursue this career? Or how did it start?
So it was a happy little accident, actually. Even in school, I never really was pursuing education. My degree for the longest time, and even before that, my career academy stuff in high school was focused towards medicine. So I was going to school to be a pediatric neurosurgeon. Okay. So I worked on EMT, as a training EMT on ambulances. I've scrubbed into neurosurgeries and C-sections and all sorts of stuff. So I was really steadfast on that path, and during college I started working after school care at one of our local schools, and I kind of started feeling shifts in what I enjoyed, and my skills are always been science minded. That's just I'm thankful for it, but that's something that's always been almost second nature to me. Like, I knew how to do these things, but I realized that my passion really lied with the students. And I wanted to share that knowledge, and I find joy and purpose in doing that and making those connections with kids and encouraging them to continue to expand on that knowledge.
Right, so to help them develop a love for learning.
Yeah, exactly, and I think that's, to answer really your question, how I ended up in education, that's really what it was marinating with me, and it kind of just kept pushing me towards this. And I don't know, I just fell in love with it. I literally randomly fell into the job. I was in formal education for about 4 years or so. And then,
what did you do in formal education?
Oh, I did a lot of stuff. So, I mean, of course, it started with after school care, and then I started working with students one-on-one during the school day. So I worked at a private school, so it's a little bit less structured, but not in a negative way.
Okay.
You know, there's certain autonomies that you have in a private education field.
Yeah.
I worked with students in the classroom. I created curriculum for some of these students, and they were out of the classroom in their own classroom space. I was a teacher assistant for first grade, but I really worked for all pre-K through 8th. And then my final year, I was on faculty, and I was the kindergarten through 8th grade Spanish teacher.
Wow. And how old were you when you started all of this?
In education?
Yeah.
18.
I feel lacking.
I know.
I feel, wow. Jeez,
Definitely
girl.
not my life, but I'm so happy for you.
Well,
and
thank
how
you.
it's worked out.
No,
I mean, you are the educational director
Yeah.
here for
Thank
a
you.
reason.
Yes.
It's
You work for it.
it's a love. No, and my love for the Exploreum actually, it's weirdly enough, started with that entire medical path. I came here when I was probably 12 or 13 because I was young in school.
Right.
And I watched the organ exploration that I get to do now in my lab. And
I bet that's so special.
it really is, it almost is overwhelming thinking about it because it is so special, and it sat with me for so long, and it pushed me towards medicine. It kept kind of pushing me.
Oh.
And then when I was in education and I still felt this unsettled, like I can do more, I need to do more.
The want and the need to do more.
I just randomly showed up at the Exploreum.
And
I
now
love
we're here.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, now you're catching things on fire.
Yeah,
including yourself.
and getting paid to do it. It's awesome.
Man, that's the job you want.
Right.
Oh my gosh. But so, continuing on, are there any moments or stories that have like really impacted you yourself, like success stories or impactful moments? You yourself are a success story.
Oh, well, thank you.
'Cause-
It's, of course, you never think that about yourself, but I do know that I love my job. I come into work excited every day, and I think that is a success in itself.
Yes.
Yes.
As far as things that really sit with me, it's always those little moments. In fact, actually looking over these questions beforehand, it was a reflective type process for me, and I thought, wow, I really lucked out. Like, I randomly showed up and put in my application,
Yeah.
and as our executive director loves to tell people, it was the longest interview
It was 3
ever.
hours long. wasn't it?
Oh my
Close,
3 or 4
close to
gosh.
4.
Yeah. Your interview was 4
just-
hours. Mine was 3 hours.
Yeah, just went through
Yeah.
everything, and then weirdly enough, there was like a water emergency. You know, just it was everything that could possibly go wrong. But I was just so excited and on fire. I was like, I've got to work
It's
here.
like, please let me
I was
stay.
like, y'all, I can match.
wanna stay.
I can match the chaos. Just wait, put me in a lab or a classroom. But no,
Instead of matching it, you're creating it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no. Now it's like, nope. Savannah was there.
Speaking of, I mean, your example today, she
Yeah.
was doing a example with fire and caught the
Just casually caught it was
the thing on fire.
a seal, for lack of better words, on the end of the Rubens tube. It was like, that's not supposed to happen.
But it's in the name
Everyone
of
was
science.
safe, and well, that's why we have our special scientist health insurance policies.
Yes.
Yeah. But as far as moments, actually, speaking of chaos, the last day of this past summer academy, that has got to be one of my favorite days of work ever, because it wasn't work, it was really play. But what was so exciting is, we concluded this whole 8 weeks of summer academies. We've grown, I mean, some of these babies, it feels like we raise them, and they're with us
Honestly.
every day of every week of the summer, and you do love your students. And it was the last day, and we were setting up all these traps for the other class because they were taking, supplies from us, and we were upset.
Oh
And we
my
made it into a
gosh.
game, but these kids were engineering these traps. They were using these, and they were really into
They were
it.
using this.
And they were coming up to me excited, and we were just screaming and playing and having fun, and
Oh,
all the
wow.
classes were involved. It probably sounded really like sketchy to some, because kids were, it was
They
like
were
battle
screaming.
cries.
I do remember that.
Yeah, and like it was the most chaotic, crazy, whatever, but it was so genuinely fun, and people were coming out of their offices like, what
Is
did
everyone
what did
okay?
Savannah do this? You know,
Oh,
like, oh
goodness.
gosh. But that has got to be one of the moments, and it's always those moments like that in education.
And
that
those memories will stay with those kids
And those
forever.
are so important too,
Yeah.
though, because for some kids, like, it's hard to get a
Yeah.
grasp on things.
Exactly.
And that puts it in a whole,
I was that kid.
Yeah, us
we were,
too,
we
right
were those
here.
kids.
So, and I never necessarily had teachers who were like that
Yeah.
in any type of way. So, I know that is important for them.
Well, and it's equally as important for us, like I said, and that in itself, knowing that we're showing those, like, we do love you and we want you here and we will
Yeah.
work with you.
It is possible.
And we're not just here for the fancy science experiment. Like,
Yeah.
and I always actually just said this. I was speaking to a group of students yesterday. That's the second most important. You know, science that doesn't come before the people. We're here for the people. That's science is a
Yes.
tool to get to them and to encourage and to inspire and to build people up because it's about them. It's not about what we know.
Yeah.
And so in that moment, it was about the students having fun and wanting to be here. They felt like they were a part of the academy and they were building.
Oh.
And
Makes
yeah,
me so happy
well,
just to
it
hear you
makes
talk about
it makes me really. In fact, it gives me goosebumps. But of course, everyone was like, "What is happening?" And the kids,
Yes.
they were very fired up, and they were like,
They were excited. They were
"We
ready
will,
to go to battle.
we will get our revenge next year." I was like, "That is really aggressive," but
Okay.
okay.
We'll look forward to it. So with those programs, because you mentioned creating all this programming, and so you've helped develop or have developed a lot of the programs here for the educational teams and the STEM coordinators. So what is your process in creating that? So how do you come up with the idea or the general programming?
Well, that's a loaded question. So there's a lot of, it's a multifaceted type question. So first of all, I have a great education team. I have STEM coordinators, STEM educators, STEM interns. All of them contribute in their own individual ways. And I think that's what's making this new programming that much stronger is that we're all coming from different perspectives, different understandings of things. And I always tell them, I want us all to teach differently. I don't want anyone to teach like me. I don't want to teach like you because we're going to touch that many, like, we'll hit that many more, you know,
Avenues,
check marks. We'll,
of people.
yeah, well, that's exactly, it makes it more accessible and things. So I guess a part of that process really starts with having a strong team, period.
Yes.
So as far as coming up with the ideas, it's just, there's a number of ways. You know, I did teach informal education, so I have at least that as a foundation for, I guess, the more formal side of creating curriculum and writing it. But ideas, a lot of my inspiration comes from the kids, and half the stuff that we even create is like, that didn't work. It's not until we're doing it like scientists that we're like, okay, let's workshop it, let's figure it out, and then we go back and then we create actual curriculum based on that, saying, no, I know this actually works, and this is more successful because it's student-led.
Right.
But just
it teaches them how to do that process.
Yeah.
How to go from A and then end up at F.
Yeah, exactly. And so I think shifting our focus to that kind of process is what is building us up to recreating bigger things like the academies and rewriting our field trip guide and things, because we're shifting our focus in education back to the student. And so I guess that's really where my process starts with my team, where their process starts is with the kids and what we've seen and what we think will work, and giving them that opportunity. I always say we've got robots and critters and all sorts of stuff in this building, and it needs to be used, and it needs to be used by them, and let them build, whatever.
Because it's meant for them.
Well, that's exactly. And then there's always the formalities of things, and that comes with the experience in education. And that's the fun administrative part of the job. But I guess, again, the most important part is shifting that focus, and that's really where that process starts.
Right. And to my personal belief, it informal learning style with STEM education and science education definitely helps develop a love for learning.
Yeah, absolutely.
And because I know for myself, sitting at a desk for 8 hours a day killed me.
It's
It was
hard.
awful.
Did nothing for me.
Well, it's hard for college students, even when you're an adult sitting in a lecture,
and you just feel like you're nodding off, and it's just
well, especially if it's something, if it's taught in one, you're not that kind of learner, and it's taught in that fashion.
You're not absorbing what
you shut down as almost like a defense mechanism because it's upsetting and it's frustrating that you can't. Yeah, I mean.
Yeah, we were both there. ADHD and having to sit there and just kind of stare off into space.
And instead, I just daydreamed because I couldn't keep my focus for the life of me because it wasn't anything that was in an entertainment way.
Yeah,
I still wanted to learn. But I couldn't do it the way they were.
Well, I think that's such a huge misconception generally in education. Of course, there is a time and a place for formal education. There's so much value in it, but just
it does help in certain situations.
To making it much more dynamic with your approaches and things, and we're seeing that kind of evolve in the classroom. It's I lost my train of thought. It's okay. But it is so important. I think hearing that too really just solidifies that, because I mean, all three of us would have had a different education, and there were classes too. I mean, we all would have had our individual struggles, because there were even, you know, with what their classes. I was like, I don't like physics, for example. That's part of, you know, I studied it for a really long time, and even at a college level, it's hard.
Physics doesn't make sense.
And it took so much. But what was funny is, you know, there are parts of it that I understood, parts that, and I don't, it just, back to, I guess, your question about informal education, is that's the beauty, is we're looking at both sides of it in a bunch of different ways.
Yes.
And that is gonna, those lights are gonna go off, you know, those ideas.
Every angle has a different idea, different light bulb. It's much easier to understand it when you can see it and feel it. Exactly.
I want to know how, obviously, like, sometimes you're going to have a diverse audience.
Yeah.
How do you apply these things for people who are different, though?
Yeah.
And with the age groups, because we have a large range of age groups that come through here.
So, honestly, part of it's an acquired skill. It is. Like, if you've never taught or hung out with middle schoolers before, you learn really quickly how to teach and hang out with middle schoolers. And of course, and everyone, that's always a response, is they scare me, but there's so much opportunity with that age group, because they are curious, and you just, I guess you learn those different approaches, because generally speaking, of course, like we said, everybody's a different learner.
Right.
But generally speaking, you kind of learn the trick of the trade with certain grade levels. And by knowing that, we focus in this building on foundational sciences, so we're always prepared when a group walks in, whether they're first graders or eighth graders. I know how to take this core and work it to either way, and I'm not making it that much more advanced. I'm just
catering it to your audience.
I'm just allowing for more conversation that's about what they know. And so I guess that's a huge part of making things accessible in this building, is just focusing on the foundation of things in science, because if we're all the way up here in this, you know, advanced anatomy and physiology, or we're talking about organic chemistry and things, people are automatically, regardless of if they're, of course, kindergartners, but even college students and adults will walk in and be like, nope, not for me. And that's not the point. The point is to start here, so if we have the opportunity and it seems appropriate and we're excited about it, we can keep building up on that topic. So that's, I think, weirdly enough, I was talking about this yesterday too, I think that's how we work with our, a diverse audience, is again, making it's less about the science and more about the people and what they know. We always ask people what they know before, and we have conversations with them.
You just build upon that learning.
Exactly. And so it challenges us, because sometimes people will say things, it's like, I literally was not thinking about that at all. That completely threw me for a loop. And of course, kids are the best at that. And you're like, well, that's
they
great.
Make connections that are the weirdest
things. And that's what's so beautiful about it, is you do a demo. I can do a demo 18 times. I'll do it different every single time. Every time. And it's because you go in and, as an educator, excited and willing to challenge yourself and to work and to hear what they have to say and interact with one another. It's something that we do together. We're learning and exploring these concepts. It's not me lecturing.
Every time I hear it, I'm just thinking that song.
It's hard not to think about that song.
It's a memorable moment for all of our children.
Yes.
But so that was High School Musical, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yes, it was.
speaking of schools, we do a lot of outreach to schools.
Yeah, we do.
So, how do you collaborate with different schools in STEM education, spreading it through this South Alabama area? And just like what are some of the things you do?
Yeah, I mean, of course, school groups are really it's a huge part of what the department does. Every single day, almost when you walk in, there are kids here on a school field trip.
And if you look at the forecast on our stories on Instagram, you can see which days are best to come when you don't want to have hundreds of kids around you. Just look at the forecast and you can tell when to come.
Good idea.
No, and that is actually, it's a wonderful thing. They're always here in the mornings, but we're excited they're here in the mornings. So that's a huge part that we collaborate with schools. And what our goal is while they're here and they're interacting with our exhibit spaces and things, there's information that educators can take back and bring into their classrooms.
Yeah.
Whether that be something that we do, like the Rubik's Cube demonstration, they go back and they have a follow-up conversation or activity in their class about sound waves.
Of what they learned.
Yeah, so that's always a way that we're collaborating. Outreach is a huge way that we collaborate. And outreach, there's a number of things that we do. We can go teach in the classroom. We can go do an auditorium show, which we just recently did, where we do kind of big science demonstrations. We'll do the Bernoulli's tubes. We do animal encounters. We set ourselves on fire.
Yes.
That's my favorite.
Honestly.
That one's one of my favorites too. That and Dragon's Breath, because of course kids they're like, "Are you a wizard?" I'm like, I am in fact a wizard.
I am part dragon.
I know.
I am. Yes, I'm like, science is magic, guys. And then
science is magic that works.
Exactly. So we'll do that. So and I think we do family science nights. Those are a little bit less frequent, but that's of course another way that we collaborate. I guess that would really be more with education, like clubs and stuff, informal education. But as far as what we're doing in the classrooms, their visits here and our outreach to them is really, I guess, the biggest part, portion of that.
Collaborating with them.
And we're in the process too of kind of creating more opportunities for educators.
Yes.
I have teacher workshops that are coming up here soon where we show them different demonstrations that we do here at the Exploreum.
Give them different ideas of what they can do.
Exactly, because we're bringing those resources to them so they actually can check out these kits with all the supplies. So this first one is the Airbus Discovery Space workshop. So we'll have all sorts of rockets and things that they can check out, bring into their classroom. And so it's a great thing for them to bring in. And so that's a new way that we're hoping to collaborate. We're really excited about.
A lot of fun.
And educators can also come and start teaching for me in the academy for a week.
We did that this past summer.
Yes, I had three educators come and join me. They got to teach in our classrooms. They did a phenomenal job. And of course, it's great for our kids and our program because it's always that fresh perspective.
Yes.
But they get to take that curriculum, which is, again, they're all hands-on STEM activities and experiments, and we give them those lesson plans to take into their classroom because, well, yes, it's our lesson plan. The whole point of this building and our mission is to share and this,
to spread STEM education.
Yeah, we're increasing science literacy. Exactly.
And it's a way where people really enjoy it too.
Exactly.
It's fun.
It is fun, and it's that's education isn't meant for gatekeeping is the best word I can think of. It's meant we're supposed to.
It's meant to grow.
We're supposed to share.
It's like a plant. It grows.
And the roots in the trees and the
You're just like,
we'll go with it.
That works. Oh goodness. And so with partnering with all the schools and everything, are there any corporations that the education team has partnered with, or organizations that you work with, or anything like that?
So the Exploreum is a proud partner with many different organizations, whether that's at all different types of levels. We do a lot of work
and
with.
We are a nonprofit.
We are
So we are very thankful for all of our partners. They do amazing for us. We try to give everything back to them.
Yeah, absolutely. We have the AM&S Calvert STEM Lab, of course. I know y'all just.
That took me 5 times to say right, but double check.
You get lots of practice when you go, you're up in the lab and things, but
AM/NS Calvert.
Yes.
Yes.
It is the Airbus Discovery Space Teacher Workshop that we have. And of course, we hope to expand that. We've been doing a lot of work with the University of South Alabama, the chemistry department. This Saturday, actually, November 18th, they're coming and joining us in our Science Club headquarters. They're doing some fun chemistry demonstrations.
Fun.
And so it's just things like we're continuing to build. I think it's important to do that because we all kind of share that same core mission, which is to pour into our community, whatever that way may be. And no, I think it's wonderful, and we're excited to continue to kind of build.
And it does draw in more perspectives, more opinions, more perspectives, a different view on things, different
it expands
ideas on how to do
everybody's mindset.
Yeah, well,
exactly.
Networking is always a great way to build opportunities and stuff, and it's not just an organizational opportunity, it's for our students and for our visitors, and so we're excited about it. I know we're the crazy scientists, so
everyone's crazy. All the good people are crazy.
I know.
All the fun people are
we
crazy.
have the best mad scientists ever. That's the best way
Did
to
they
put
call Albert Einstein sane all the time? No, he was crazy.
We were enthusiastic and we're driven, and we don't shy away from a mess or
Messes are good.
some scary science and things, but we're trained professionals.
Yes. Don't try it at home.
Yes.
No.
Please don't.
Never.
We do lots of training.
And we've gotten some films of
I was going to say that the training is still
the fire going to the ceiling.
It's trial and error type training, but it is fun.
It's a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah.
Imagine being the one,
Or I can't imagine being the one to hold the explosions and fires and everything.
No.
I'd rather just watch. But
I don't know. The only one that I think I'd like to do is fire hands.
she really likes fire.
Okay, you look like a firebender.
Yes.
No, it is
And I
honest.
want to do it.
It is probably one of the, even adults are like,
Whoa.
how'd you do that?
Exactly.
So I won't reveal my secrets here, but it's a little bit of science that makes that happen. But maybe we can make that work for you. Maybe I'd be happy to light you on fire.
So filming that. Oh, that's so much fun. I would be really worried for you, though.
I'm going to be throwing all the moves.
Oh,
We'll train you. We'll teach you the science behind it. There are ways that you protect your hands.
I know.
But magicians never give away their secrets.
But of course, I won't give it.
Scientists.
If you'd like to know how to do the flaming hands demonstration, you can see it at the Exploreum.
You have to come see us.
Yep.
You have to come see it in order to actually understand. But so, do you have any advice for aspiring scientists or aspiring educators through your experiences or anything like that?
Well, yes, I guess I do. I guess I have a comment and then advice. When you love it, you do love it. And I know that's such a cliche, and everyone says, they always joke about education. You don't go into education if you want to get rich. I mean, which is true, but it is so fulfilling, and it isn't for the ill heart. It does take a lot, and you pour yourself into it, but it is absolutely worth it when those 4 and 5-year-olds are running down the hall, screaming over a roll of paper because they've created all these traps, and those moments is that's what makes it worth it. But I guess advice would just be to keep at it. I'm notorious for, and we were talking about that actually before we recorded. I never do a perfect science experiment ever, and it's partly probably error on my part because I am human and I am that happens. But I think that's always in fact I don't ever look for that perfect experiment because there's so much opportunity there for me to grow and rethink and to problem solve, but also to teach and to I always say, scientists do not give up, and if you were here for our Halloween event, we do not give up. We don't.
Even with the sledgehammer.
We will try 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 times, whatever.
However many times it takes.
Just don't give up on yourself. Don't give up on education because it is hard. And it's, anything that you go do is going to be challenging, but I think all the best things are challenging.
Yes.
Yeah.
The only things that are challenging, those are the most rewarding things.
Well, they are, and like I said, I think it is one of the most rewarding fields to go into. I'm extremely biased, but there's a reason that I switched from the track I was on to education, and it just
clicked.
There's so much love in it, and you gotta love what you do. And I know I'm gonna get upset talking about it,
It's
but
so sweet.
Don't give up on yourself.
Don't give up on yourself. A scientist never gives up. We keep trying.
Look at the problem, see what
Try
happens.
until it
If you have to go get a hammer to smash the pumpkin, just go get a hammer. Yeah.
Smash the pumpkin.
Yeah.
Oh man. But so we get to be the students today.
Yeah, I'm
We've got
excited.
A special thing coming. We are going to be dissecting owl pellets. So we're going to do that very shortly.
Yep. All right.
It's gonna be wonderful.
Bye.
Yep.
Hi guys. So
Okay.
Savannah went to do something real quick, and we decided we're going to do a test one. So here it is.
I still want to touch it.
I'll touch it. I'm intrigued.
Okay. Oh my gosh. Wait, is that a skull?
It's a bone.
I think it's like a full skull. Hold on.
Here. Miss, I don't want to touch it.
Okay, but then I saw a skull. It's not going away.
Okay, here.
I think it hates me.
Here. We gotta pick away at the fur. I'm just using my nails. Oh god. Maybe it needs to be microwaved first. Get it?
I was thinking soaking it in water. I don't know, maybe it needs to be rehydrated.
Yeah.
Because I thought, oops, there went a jaw.
Oh god.
But there's
Don't
a
break
wrinkle.
Josh's bones.
Yes. So all the bones that we find are going to our marketing director because he called dibs.
Yep. Oh, there's a bone.
Really? I thought it was like a, I don't know, rainbow.
What's the Skittles thing?
Crunch.
The rainbow
Oh my
taste.
god, it crunched.
Eat the rainbow, taste the rainbow, like Skittles.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
This is a
This is
big old thing
compacted.
that they ate. What little critter did they
I
eat?
think it's a squirrel.
Yeah, it looks like a little. It looks like fangs. Or long.
Long stuff.
Long teeth. Ew.
Look at the fur. Hold on. We're going to. I'm going to scoot that up.
Was looking at her.
She hit the. Something went flying.
This is why Savannah watch us.
What is that?
I don't know where it went.
12 seconds later.
Okay.
I tried to just grab the bone and it broke, so they're quite fragile.
Fragile.
Fragile. It's just crunching away.
I think that's the disgusting part. There's a skull fragment. You sprung a skull at me. What is wrong with? What have I done to you?
I'm sorry. I don't mean to. This fur is really gross.
Do you think this is a femur? Or maybe it's.
It looks like a piece of a
I
leg
don't
bone.
know. I don't know the terminology for bones in a squirrel.
This looks like a
Gopher.
Oh god! Okay, this is getting dangerous.
Maybe I need to wear a mask.
We are not in the right.
We don't know what we did.
I have an idea. I'm a pause.